This is a hearing on a non-agreed child support review order. Mr. Arellano filed a request for a hearing, and in his request for a hearing, he indicated he was not in agreement with the review order. He indicated on his request for a hearing that he lives paycheck, and this increase in child support would have an impact on his life. That is the essence of his request. Let me see, procedurally, Mr. Connaught, why don't you tell me where we are on this matter?
After conferring with the parties, no agreement has been reached as to what should happen with the modification. I believe we'll need a hearing, elicit testimony as to his present income from Mr. Arellano, and have the court make a finding as to what the appropriate amount of child support should be based on that income.
Okay. All right. The way that this matter is being handled according to the Texas Family Code and presented with a non-agreed child support review order, the options that the court has are either to confirm the child support review order as drafted or presented by the Attorney General's office. The other option is to deny the confirmation of this order. Third option is to amend the child support review order. With that, let me have the Attorney General present their case first.
Yes. State will call Mr. Victor M. Arellano. Sir, could you please state your name for the court?
Yes, sir. My name is Victor Miguel Arellano.
Where do you work right now, sir?
I'm an agent with the U.S. Border Patrol, sir.
What's your position with that office?
I'm a Border Patrol agent.
And what is your monthly wages with that agency before taxes?
I don't have the amount with me currently, sir.
You don't know what you make?
I'd say about 5,000, 6,000.
Every month?
I believe so, sir.
Is that before or after taxes?
Before taxes.
Do you pay any union dues?
Yes, sir.
How much are those dues?
I believe they're about $30
per month.
Per check.
Per check. How often do you get paid?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. So that's once every 2 weeks, not twice a month.
Yes, sir.
And do you have insurance through your work?
Yes, sir.
Does that insurance cover the child before the court today?
Yes, sir.
What are the costs of covering the child with that insurance?
Give me 1 second. I pay $170 per paycheck.
Does that include dental?
No, dental is $35.69 and vision is $16.19.
Could I get the dental one more time?
Dental is $35.69.
All right. And do you receive any other income besides your regular working wages?
No, sir.
Do you get any housing offsets as a part of your Border Patrol income?
No, sir.
Do you receive any money from the Social Security Administration?
No, sir.
Are you getting any veterans benefits right now?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any investments or real property or anything that could provide you an extra stream of revenue?
No, sir.
All right. And I'll go ahead and pass the witness.
Sir, real quick, the union dues are $32.27 per check.
$32.27. Understood. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Ms. Gonzalez, any questions?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay.
Mr. Arellano, you divorced Idalia Rubio in 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as a consequence of that divorce, what was the division of the property and debts?
I took,
Back to that being irrelevant.
What's the relevance of the property division?
Your Honor, under 154, 123 of Texas Family Code, additional factors to consider, the court is allowed to consider other factors. And if you see specifically under that section, subpart 16, it says that the court shall consider under B, determine whether application of the guidelines will be unjust or inappropriate under the circumstances. The court shall consider evidence of all relevant factors, including there's a laundry list that starts with the age and needs of the child, going all the way. Number 16 is deaths, service assumed by either party, and any other reason consistent with the best interest of the child, taking into consideration the circumstances of the parents. So I think that my position, Your Honor, is the child doesn't need $1,800 per month, number one. Number two, I believe that there's special circumstances. And number three, I think that the debts that my client assumed that led him to bankruptcy because of this marriage are factors to consider in determining child support, Your Honor. It's law, it's part of the Texas Family Code. I understand that most of the judges doesn't apply, but I think it's important that the court deviate if factors are considered and presented to the court, Your Honor.
Mr. Rosales, any response?
My only response to that, Judge, I do have 154.123 pulled up. I believe that section is designed for an adjustment of child support at the time that those debts are assumed. We're not looking into modifications of child support at a later date after that has already been considered. And I believe previously in the final decree of divorce, whatever arguments should have been made for debts assumed at that time should have been done then. This is a child support based on a change of circumstances. And a change in circumstances is an increase in salary. I think you would have to prove that he assumed some debt from the other party since the rendition of the last order, not debts assumed at the last order. So I think it'd have to be that.
Okay.
With all due respect, Ms. Rosales, you're incorrect. I believe that the last order was the divorce decree, precisely. The divorce decree was done on January 29, 2016.
All right.
I don't
Let me
believe
get a
that the
response from the
non-agreed.
Attorney General as to the objection.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear your ruling.
I think you
I haven't ruled. I'm asking the Attorney General to put their position on the objection.
Traditionally, debts are not considered when factoring in the outside factors for child support. Generally speaking, if he's declared bankruptcy in the past, the agency's policy has been, well, that frees up more money for the child support.
No, that's incorrect, Mr. Connaught. My client had to file for bankruptcy after the divorce because he's living paycheck to paycheck, okay? In addition to that,
Ms. Gonzalez, this is my ruling. I was going to sustain the objection. Any division or any community debts that were decided upon by the divorce decree were decided upon by the divorce decree. Any property division, assumption of community debts, if they were assigned to the parties, does not have any effect on the child support at this time. I'm going to sustain the objection.
Your Honor, may I continue my cross-examination to my
Yes,
client?
Yes, ma'am, you may.
Thank you. Mr. Arellano, as a consequence of the divorce, was that difficult for you?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay. And consequently, did you have to file for bankruptcy?
Yes, I filed for bankruptcy in March of 2016.
Okay,
Are
what
you
is the
still paying
relevance?
bankruptcy, sir?
Okay, hold on, Ms. Gonzalez. What is the relevance of the bankruptcy in this matter?
Your Honor, the resources, my client net resources, I think are important.
Is he still in bankruptcy?
Yes, Your Honor.
What kind of bankruptcy is he in?
Reorganization to consolidate the community debts, Your Honor. I think this is
So it's,
very relevant to this issue.
chapter 13 or chapter 7?
I think 13.
Well, well, okay, I still don't see the relevance of the bankruptcy in this matter.
Your Honor, I have provided the statement of my client, the pay stubs, where it reflects that he's still paying bankruptcy as a consequence of the divorce. Ms. Rubio is very comfortable asking for more child support, but
Okay.
some of these debts were hers as well. May I
The
continue, Your
the
Honor?
only thing that is relevant as far as the child support is his income, his health insurance, union dues. That's the only
Your Honor, we have
factors that
case law.
factor into, hold on, Ms. Gonzalez. I'm holding all those matters irrelevant to this matter. According to this family code, the only matters that are considered are his income, that's any health insurance provisions, dental insurance, if he has any other children. Those are the only factors that are considered under the Texas Family Code. Go ahead. Any other questions?
Mr. Arellano, you don't have any other children to support under the age of 18?
Mm, not biologically, but I do pick up my stepson Dante along with my son.
Is Dante your biological child from Ms. Rubio?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And have you done any other expenses that benefit Dante? I'm sorry, benefit Jarrell, which is the child, the subject of these matters? Any
Uh,
other extraordinary expenses?
well, when they're here, I mean, I have to, feed them and take care of them. We're talking about going out to eat or taking them to the movies.
Mr. Arellano, how old is the child before this court?
Jarrell just turned 8 years old.
Okay. Do you think that Jarrell needs $1,800 a month for his expenses?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Do you know if a mother of the child has the ability to contribute to the support of this child?
She's able to work. Yes.
Is she working today?
I don't know what her situation is.
How much time do you spend with Jarrell?
Right now, because of their classes, I pick them up after they finish class on Friday, and then I take them back Saturday by noon. Before, I would pick them up on Thursdays every other week.
Okay. Sir, you said that you pay $170 for Jarrell only every pay period?
For insurance,
Health insurance, yes.
I believe that's for both of us.
Plus the dental, plus the vision.
Let me see if I have the paperwork here. I don't have the exact numbers for him.
Okay, in addition to that, you pay Medicaid?
No, Jorel and has Medicaid also, along with my insurance.
So the state has calculated the child support on the non-agreed order, having you to pay the private health insurance and the Medicaid. Is that your testimony?
I'm going to object to speculative. She's asking for a legal conclusion from a non-legal expert, as well as the reasoning of the OAG in its initial calculation.
I can't hear you, Mr. Connaught.
Never mind. I'll withdraw my objection. Please continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Arellano, do you think that in the non-agreed order, they're deducting you from your private health insurance and also from the state? Why is the need for the state health insurance to kick in if you have private insurance for this child?
I don't know. My son has ADD, but
Do you pay whatever the 50% that is not covered by your insurance, sir?
well, last year I was paying for the treatments.
Okay.
I
So,
paid for all of them. I didn't receive the half from Miss Rubio.
Okay. If that's the case, are you asking the court to discontinue the to pick one or the other, not having two health insurance, one to the payment of the taxpayers and the other that you pay, sir?
No, I mean, he needs it for his therapy, so
And
that's
the
fine.
therapies are covered by your health insurance, no?
Only 23 sessions a year, or 26, I believe.
Okay. Sir, do you consider that 1,800 or whatever amount child support is unreasonable under the circumstances for you to live?
Yes, ma'am. It would be impossible for me to give him, to be able to take care of him when I have him. And I would, right now with my current situation that I'm living paycheck to paycheck, I would not be able to probably support myself.
Thank you. I pass the witness.
Mr. Rosales, any questions?
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Arellano.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Sir, back in March of 2020, you all went to court and the Attorney General presented that you had a gross income of $12,642.74, and you requested a hearing saying you didn't say that was incorrect. In other words, that is a correct amount that based on what you provided to the Attorney General, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the objection that you had was essentially that it would, and I'm going to read this: you live paycheck to paycheck, and this would greatly impact your life. But that was the only objection that you raised to the child support order back in March, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any other objections to the evidence that's been presented by the Attorney General?
No, sir, nothing at the moment.
Okay, and I had to clear up something for the court. You indicated that you pay $170 every 2 weeks for health insurance, but that covers both you and your son.
Correct.
Do you know what the cost of the health insurance is for you by yourself?
Give me 1 second, sir. I don't have the numbers here with me. I just got off of work.
Your Honor, the information was sent to Mr. Rosales his pay stubs as to the deductions and salary were sent yesterday.
For some reason,
Everything is in there.
I can't find it in my email, but.
I mean, I just received my copy while we were having this hearing, so I can forward my copy to Mr. Rosales if that would be helpful.
That's okay. I mean, so long as Mr. Connaught if you have the copy, I think you'll be calculating the support, I'm imagining. So as long as you have it, I trust you. And I have no objection to that. Okay, so I have no other questions of Mr. Arellano.
All right, Mr. Connaught, any questions for Mr. Arellano?
Yes, we just got the wages exhibit. I'd like to ask him a few questions about the document marked R1 from respondent.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and forward a copy to Mr. Arellano as well, so we can see what I'm talking about. Or Mr. Arellano, do you have a copy of R1 in front of you?
No, sir.
Okay. Ms. Gonzalez, would it be okay if I forwarded it in the exhibit you just sent to me?
That's okay, you can.
Okay. So I'm forwarding it now. It should be going to your the email box you've got on file with the Attorney General's office. And please let me know when you receive that and if you can take a look at it.
All right. And for the record, Mr. Connaught, are you referring to R1, which is the pay stub that was provided to the court? It reflects an annual of $89,517.
Yes, Your Honor.
And, okay,
Can you repeat that, Judge? My audio broke up.
yes, sir. It's annual salary is $89,017. I guess that's the base salary. And however, the pay period that's reflected is in January of this year. You don't have anything more current than that?
Your Honor, I presented 6 months of a pay period
Okay, all right, let me,
in my R1.
but the base salary is the same, isn't it?
It does
Yes, Your
change
Honor.
as it transitions from 2019 to 2020, but remains consistent
see.
thereafter.
Okay, hold on. What was it?
Base
What was the base salary?
base pay,
I'm looking at $92,068 per year in salary gross income.
And what date of
This is for June of this year, and it runs back up through January.
Okay,
Does it have a year to date?
It does have year to date for the calculations, but it also lists his yearly salary as well.
I guess
What is it?
what Mr. Rosales is asking is, does he have any other entitlements, any overtime, any lump sum payments, anything like that?
And that's what I was hoping to ask him about. But
Okay.
for the sake of expediency, Attorney Rosales, Attorney Gonzalez, would you all be okay stipulating to the admissibility of R1, since it does seem to be his paycheck stubs?
I would, and I just, pardon me,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I want to thank you, Mr. Rosales. I just want to remind everyone that my client makes salary or his paycheck every 2 weeks, and that there's a week for the month of December that goes into the next year. And the year to date is not realistically correct, because if you see that I had here provided from January, you see that there is a week of December, the prior year, that is incorporated into the year to date. I just wanted to remind the Attorney Generals, the judge, and Mr. Rosales that that's the problem with the bi-weekly employees, that then in January you reflect a lot, but they're counting the last year's salary, okay?
Understood. I think we would just be going off of the listed salary for the year of 2020 as opposed to the year to date.
That's fine, thank you.
Would it be all right if I asked for it to be admitted into evidence,
Well,
Ms. Gonzalez?
I just sent you a chat regarding, for my email, so you could forward it to me.
Yes, let me go ahead and get you looped in on the email as well, so we're all looking at the same documents.
Great.
Lawfirm.com. Forward.
Go ahead, Mr. Connaught. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Arellano, did you receive that R1 document?
Yes, sir.
So I'm looking at, if you scroll down to the very last page, dated for June of this year. Do you see that there?
Give me 1 second, sir. For when, sir?
I'm looking at 6/7/2002, or 2020 rather. Should be page 15.
Okay.
Can you please explain what the document is we're looking at here?
My pay stub?
And how was this information obtained?
I believe I downloaded it from the employee website.
And so this came right from your employer,
Yes, sir.
and you provided it to your attorney.
Yes.
Is this a true and accurate reflection of the wages that you're earning right now?
Yes, sir.
We stipulate this is what it is.
Okay. State will offer R1 and ask that it be entered into evidence.
All right.
That's fine.
Rosales, any objections, sir?
I stipulated, Judge.
Mr. Rosales?
I'm taking a look at it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I have no objection.
And, oh, apologies.
Let me just ask the Attorney General. It was a child support that was calculated. Was it calculated as to the statutory gap of maximum income under the Texas Family Code? I mean, you don't set it based on his actual earnings. You set it based, since it was over the gap. Did you all set it based on the gap, the statutory gap, $9,220?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
We used the statutory maximum for $9,200 for his net income.
Okay, well, that's what they call the gap. Although it could have been more than that, right? If we talk about his actual income, it would be more than the statutory gap, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Arellano, if you look at the top right of the page, there's a spot that says rent deductions this appointment. Could you explain what that amount represents?
Yeah, yes, sir. Give me 1 second. For which one, sir?
I'm still looking at page 15. The top right column, rent deductions this appointment. The amount is listed as $19,122.28. I was hoping you could explain to me what that amount represents.
I believe it's the deductions that they've taken from my check.
Okay, so that represents money that came off the check, not money that was added onto it.
Right.
All right. And as far as well, Mr. Rosales already asked and answered that. So I'll go ahead and pass the witness back to Ms. Gonzalez.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Arellano, Ms. Gonzalez?
No from this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Rosales, any questions for Mr. Arellano?
I can speak to from the exhibit, Judge, if you give me a chance later to highlight what I'm looking at. I
Yes,
don't
sir.
have any other questions. Thank you.
That's fine. Good. State have any other evidence or testimony?
State will call Miss Idalia Rubio. Ma'am, could you please state your name for the court?
My name is Idalia Rubio.
Do you know if Mr. Arellano has any other income besides his regular working income?
No, I don't know.
Do you know if he works any side jobs or anything like that to provide him additional income?
He told me, I think it was last year, that he was gonna begin or start a little business, but I don't know anything about it. Like, I just know that he was renting tables and chairs, but that's it. I don't know.
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
I believe she said he told her.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
Speculation, Your Honor. She doesn't know about.
She just said she didn't know.
Mm,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Connaught.
Were you ever provided with any facts or figures, any concrete details about those plans, or was it just kind of speculation?
No, he mentioned it to me. You know what? I don't know. It's like the money he made of that, if he continue with that, or that part, I don't know. But he told me that he was gonna start a small business. I saw the, the car where he kept the chairs and the tables parked outside of his home, but that's all I know.
Understood. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Ms. Gonzalez, any questions for Ms. Rubio?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Miss Rubio, do you work?
I'm not currently working right now.
Do you have other children to support besides Jarrell?
Dante Rubio, another child of mine.
Okay, and Mr. Arellano treats Dante like it was his own child, isn't it?
Yes, he does.
And he picks him up at the same time he picks up Jarrell and buy the same things and pays whatever he needs to pay for your son.
When he picks them up every Friday at 4 p.m. and he brings them back at 12. On that time, I don't know what he buys them. I'm assuming he buys food. I don't know what else he buys for them, but that's all he does in regards to Dante.
He considers Dante as his son. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And in the divorce, he assumed all the community debts. You remember?
Objection
I'm
and
going to
relevance.
object to relevance. We've already had a ruling on this.
What's the relevance, Ms. Gonzalez?
Well, Your Honor, I just want to ask her from, her knowledge, if it's true that my client assumed all the community debts. That's why he lives paycheck to paycheck. This is a factor to consider, and it should be considered, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll sustain the objection. The court has already ruled on that issue.
Okay. Ma'am, can you tell us how much money do you need to support Jarrell in a monthly basis?
I don't have that amount, but I'm just asking what the Texas regulation said, that it is 20%, and that's it. I'm not asking anymore.
Is Jarrell in private school?
No, right now he's not in private school.
Okay, thank you. Do you spend more than $100 a month in clothing for Jarrell?
I don't have that number. I spend whatever Jarrell's needs, either if it's come from Victor or I provide it. My son does not need anything. Like
Okay.
everything is
So
provided.
you spend zero in clothing for Gerald in a monthly basis.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that whatever my son needs, all his needs in regards
much-
to clothes.
I'm sorry, do you spend more than $500 on that child only for food?
I don't know. I don't have that on. I cannot answer. I don't have that.
Is the child needs any special medication or devices in order to live in a daily basis?
Well, he currently takes medication, and then I'm taking him for private tutoring, which I'm paying, and then also he goes to this center for his disabilities that he has, which is a speech impairment, ADD, and he barely was diagnosed with autism.
And you took this child to three different doctors because you wanted a diagnosis of autism, isn't it?
Ms. Gonzalez, you're breaking up. Okay, I couldn't hear your question, ma'am. Go ahead, Ms. Gonzalez.
Better. Okay.
Ms.
May I
Rubio.
continue, Your Honor?
Yes, you may. Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Rubio, is the child being diagnosed with anything?
He was diagnosed with ADD, anxiety, speech impairment, and autism.
Is the child receiving any additional funds?
No, like he is on special education with a school district. He's taking therapy. And also I'm paying for private, I'm sorry, and also he has he has hard time learning disability, I'm sorry. And then so I'm paying for private tutoring.
Okay. Other than the private tutoring, the speech, special, whatever he needs medically is covered by Mr. Arellano's health insurance?
He is covered by Blue Cross Blue Shield by Mr. Arellano, and I'm the one that provides that Medicaid by the state, but it's through me.
So you're paying Medicaid?
Yes, Medicaid.
How much do you pay Medicaid?
Well, like the last time that I work, and I don't have my pay stub right now with me, but I'm not currently working.
Is Jarrell the only child you have, ma'am? Andante?
No, I have another one, Israel.
You receive child support for all of these children?
No, ma'am, I don't. Israel is 22 years old. He's out of the house. He's not working. He doesn't live with me anymore, and I never received child support for him. And Dante, he lives with me, and I don't receive child support for Dante.
So your testimony is that the child Jarrell does not need $1,800 a month. Will you
I'm gonna
agree
object.
with
That's a
me?
mischaracterization of her testimony.
Okay. All right, let's sustain that objection. Any other?
That child, you need the child support, isn't it, ma'am, for your life to live, not the child.
I'm sorry, Ms. Gonzalez, I didn't catch that question.
So do you need $1,800 to live yourself? The child doesn't need $1,800. Will you agree with me?
I
I'm gonna
just
object to
need.
that being irrelevant, if that's not relevant.
Well, she can answer if she understands and can answer the question.
No, it's fine. It's like I'm giving the word to my lawyer.
Okay.
I pass the witness, Judge.
Alice.
No further questions for this witness.
Ms. Gonzalez, did you finish your cross?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Okay. Mr. Rosales, any questions for Ms. Rubio?
Yes, I just, Ms. Rubio, you indicated you want this court to follow the Texas child support guidelines. Is that right?
Objection leading.
Okay. How do you want this court to apply to calculate child support?
Just by the Texas regulation, which is 20%.
Objection, she's, I think that's a legal question, Your Honor, unless she's been trained to say that. I'm gonna object.
Okay, all right. Until she said 20%, I'll sustain the objection.
Okay.
Mr.
Do you
Rosales,
want? No, Judge. Just well, one last thing with respect to all the services that you just testified that you provide for your son. Do you use this money to pay for some of those services?
Yes.
Objection leading.
Mr. Rosales?
Oh, I was just referencing what Ms. Gonzalez brought up, and I asked if those are paid for out of the child support. I don't think that was leading. I wasn't trying to insinuate the answer.
If you can answer it, Ms. Rubio.
Yes.
Okay, and does Mr. Arellano exercise all of his visitation under the court order?
No.
Did he pick up the child for the month of July for the whole 30 days?
Pardon me?
Did he exercise visitation for the month of July for the entire 30 days?
No.
Okay, and he testified earlier, and correct me if I'm wrong, that he picks up your son on Friday and returns him on Saturday. Is that right?
Yes, he picks him up on 4 p.m. and brings him back on Saturday at 12.
And is that the entire visitation for his period of possession?
No. He was like, based on the other court, he's supposed to have Jarrell for way more time than that.
All right, that's all I have. Pass the witness.
Okay. Mr. Connaught,
I
any
have
other
a
questions?
follow-up question.
Okay, hold on. I'll ask the Attorney General if he has any other questions.
No further questions for this witness.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, you had another question or some more?
Sure. Do you know that Mr. Arellano works very hard and he has rotation shifts that sometimes that difficult picking up the child, even though if he has more time as per the decree of divorce?
Well, when I request him to be more with Jarrell, which I did not request for him to pick up Dante, I just request or had a talk with him that Jarrell needed more time with him. His answer was that he couldn't have Jarrell as it was said by the previous judge, because he didn't have money to pay for someone to take care of Jarrell while he was working, and that he also needed time for himself.
Okay. And Mr. Arellano has been a good father covering a child that is not even his, as is your child Dante. Would that be fair to say?
I don't know what is that he covers when he has Dante. If you put it that way, he does that as a favor. I don't see why that is irrelevant on Jarrell's case, because that is a favor. And if we're bringing up the favors, I can also say that I have done financial favors for him, which I think it is irrelevant for this case.
And he paid to your mortgage more than $10,000. Do you
object to that
remember?
being irrelevant?
Okay, that's already ruled on that issue, Ms. Gonzalez. Anything else?
That's all I have, Judge.
All right. Mr. Connaught, any other questions for Ms. Rubio?
None for Ms. Rubio, though with the court's permission, I would like to recall Mr. Arellano. I asked Ms. Rubio a question that I really should have asked to him directly.
Okay, well, hold on. I have just a couple of questions for Ms. Rubio. Ms. Rubio, how old is Jarrell?
Jarrell, he just turned 8 years old, Your Honor.
8 years old. Okay. And how long has he been in special ed receiving therapy?
Since he was 4 years old.
You said that he has ADD?
ADD, learning disability, speech impairment, anxiety, and autism.
When was you said autism, when was he diagnosed with autism and ADD?
With autism, he was barely diagnosed. I want to say like 3 weeks ago. And with ADD, he was diagnosed like around when he was 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old.
Okay. And is Rubio, Mr. Arellano has health insurance for Jorel, right?
He has private health insurance for Joel. Yes, Your Honor.
Right. Does his health insurance, does that pay for everything, or does he have any co-pays or deductibles or anything like that?
Well, there's deductibles, but then the Medicaid picks up anything that the private insurance doesn't pay.
Okay. Do you have to pay anything out of your pocket for those medicines or therapies or anything?
Sometimes I pay like just like $5. And the only out of the insurance that I pay is private tutoring for Joel.
So you pay the private tutoring. How much does that cost you to provide private tutoring?
I pay, I think, give me 1 second. Let me check.
Okay, good. Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, could I ask my my attorney if she could put me again in the stands? I'd like to say a couple of things to clear a couple of things that Ms. Rubio said.
I will call you if the judge allows me to.
Okay, thank you.
I think I pay $26 per week.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, court doesn't have any further questions for Ms. Rubio. Any other questions from either party? Mr. Connaught?
No, Your Honor.
I'd like to recall Mr. Arellano.
Okay, hold on. I'm asking if you have any questions, any other questions for Ms. Rubio?
No.
No, Your Honor.
On Your Honor.
They'd have any other evidence or testimony?
Yes, permission to recall Mr. Victor Arellano.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Arellano, just a few follow-up questions. Do you ever get overtime with your job?
We do what is called uncontrollable overtime each day for 2 hours.
And does that provide you income above and beyond your regular salary?
Yes.
And that overtime, is that paid at time and a half?
No, sir.
What's that overtime paid at?
To be honest, I don't know.
Your Honor, I have to object. If my client is capped, what is the point?
That's true. He's capped.
If it was set based on the cap, Mr. Connaught, what's
It's one or the other, I think, no?
if you want to go over the cap, I mean, or stay with the cap, Mr. Connaught.
I intend to stay with the cap, so I'll withdraw the line of questioning and pass the witness to Marlene.
Right. Any other questions for Mr. Arellano? Ms. Gonzalez, you had some questions?
Yes, Ms. Arellano, if it's true what Ms. Rubio says that you have a business.
I did have a business, a small rental for chairs and tables, and the reason I took that business because at the time I wasn't making ends meet, and I just wanted some extra cash to have my kids. That was about 2.5 years ago since I've closed that business, and it was for only a couple of months.
Okay,
Judge, we're not seeking any money from that business because I think his pay right now is at the cap already. And I think we've all stipulated we're at the cap. So I think we're okay.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, any other questions?
Mr. Arellano, you wanted to clarify something in regards to the child needs?
Yes, correct. This is his third diagnosis with that they've made him. The other previous two were negative. And this third one it came up positive for autism. I did recently speak with his OT and speech therapist, and I made Miss Rubio also know that they do not see autism in Jarrell.
Is that a diagnosis? Is this a cheat look for 3 doctors or more in order to label the child as being autistic? Isn't that true, sir?
Objection leading.
If you know.
I don't know if she did it for that cause. I would like to believe that she did it for my son's benefit.
Mr. Arellano, I've already sustained the objection. Besides that, I don't think there's a pleading for a disabled child for a permanent child support. In this case, that would be the relevance of any such questions. Go ahead, Ms. Gonzalez. Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rosales, Mr. Arellano.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
They rest?
At this time, the state will rest subject to brief closing argument and recommendations.
Right, state has rested. Ms. Gonzalez, any evidence or testimony, ma'am?
Except closing arguments, Your Honor.
Very well. Ms. Rosales?
Nothing else,
evidence
Judge.
or testimony?
No, Your Honor.
All right, state's recommendation on this matter.
Pursuant to Mr. Arellano's testimony, he stated on record that the amount of $12,642.74 as previously depicted in the March CSRP was a correct reflection of his income. His income that would produce a cap at $9,200 pursuant to the Texas Family Code. Without any outside factors which would cause that to get discounted, state believes that the court should confirm the CSRP as previously drafted.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez? Closing.
Your Honor, I do believe this is a classic case for additional factors for the court to consider. 154, 123. I believe that the court shall use some factors if the application of the guidelines will be unjust or inappropriate under the circumstances, Your Honor. This is Texas law. This is proof for a reason. There are 17 reasons why the court shall, if the court understands that there is an unfairness that is going to be committed. The age of the child, the needs of the child, the deaths of the parties, judge, and any other reason consistent with the best interest of the child, taking in consideration all the factors. You heard the testimony of my client. He's living paycheck to paycheck because he has too many deductions. He has to pay income tax. He has to pay mandatory union dues, vision, dental, health insurance. So he has to pay bankruptcy as part of the divorce led him to that. And there's case law. I understand that 99% of the judges don't even see that 154, 123, Your Honor, is there for a reason. I think that this is one of those cases that additional factors needs to be considered. It doesn't have to be at the establishment, Your Honor, and it could be at any time. And the case law is being very specific as to when it's supposed to be applied, Your Honor. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Mr. Rosales?
Your Honor, I concur with Mr. Connaught that it should, the court should order the child support pursuant to the guideline cap at $1,840. And I somewhat concur with Ms. Gonzalez in the alternative to the extent that this is a case that if you look at the additional factors under 154.123, and you've actually applied them correctly, I think this would be a case you could even go over the cap. The aids and the needs of the child have been testified to. Ms. Rubio has testified as to her not having any extra ability to contribute to the support of the child. There are no other financial resources available for the support of the child. There's no evidence of that. There's also been testimony that Mr. Arellano does not exercise all of his possession. That's subsection 4. Child care expenses are more than normal. Ms. Rubio testified about that. She also testified that she's a primary caretaker. Subsection 8 talks about whether there's any alimony or spousal support being paid, and there's not. There are no expenses being, well, that's not relevant to this. That's regarding secondary school. You know, all the provisions are lining up under 154.123 to, at the very minimum, support an order by this court for the statutory cap. And that's what we're asking for.
Your Honor, I think that 154.123, it could go either way. The only extraordinary expense that Ms. Rubio has indicated is $26 a week.
Gonzalez, do you want me to go over the cap? You want me to go over the cap? The
So,
gap
Your
is
Honor, I want
not a
you to use
the
this
gap is not a
section
limitation, Ms. Gonzalez.
to avoid an injustice.
The court can go over the gap.
No, Your Honor, I don't want you to
Okay.
go over the cap because I think
Okay.
it's gonna be unfair and unjust. I think that the needs of the child doesn't amount $1,800, not even her paying the $23 or $26 a week.
Okay.
A
All right.
tutor
Thank you,
that
Ms.
could be
Gonzalez.
paid by the public
Thank you.
system, Your Honor.
Thank you,
The
Ms.
child is not in
Gonzalez.
private.
I'm gonna mute you if you don't stop. Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Any last word, Mr. Connaught?
Nothing further from the state.
All right, based on the testimony and the evidence before the court will confirm the child support review order as produced by the Attorney General's office back on March the 16th, and will confirm the child support and provisions for health insurance as set out in that order. Start date would be was initially set at May 1st, and that will be the order of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Connaught, do you wish to, as far as the submission of the order, do you want to send it to council, or do you want to poll the council
Yes.
the submission of the order?
We will
So-
appeal, Your Honor. Thank you.
I have reviewed the order. I don't need it to be sent to me. You can put me on the record that the 1840 and the non-agreed child support review order, we are in agreement with that. And that's what Mr. Rubio is asking for this court to confirm. I don't need it forwarded. I will put it on the record that I'm in agreement.
Okay. All right, Mr. Connaught, go ahead and send it on to me so I can sign it. It'll be signed through that DocuSign application. Once I do sign it, the order will be filed with the clerk's office. If either party wishes to file an appeal, they do have 3 days from today's date to file an appeal. At this time, I believe the case is pending, has been transferred to I thought it was transferred to court 5, but you might want to check on that. It was pending 388. Whichever court it was is pending in. Okay. All right. Thank you all very much for your participation in today's hearing. Appreciate professionalism
Your Honor.
and courtesies in this matter. Parties are
And
not.
the excuse, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.